Namaskar. Good morning. Today we will be talking about the theory of biocentrism and how it is relevant in the Indian context, and what are the common features between the theory of biocentrism and the Indian philosophy. So we start with the brief introduction. The theory of biocentrism has been proposed by Robert Lanza in the late 90s. And he was a renowned biologist and a stem cell pioneer. And unlike the conventional view that the universe gave rise to life through random physical processes, biocentrism proposes a radical shift. It says that life and consciousness are not the byproducts of the universe, they are the foundation of it. That means the life is the basic entity in the universe. And all the universe is created because of life. So let's go into detail. The theory, as I said, believes that life creates the universe, not the way around. And the core principles behind it, the first is the life creates reality and the universe doesn't create life. Reality is shaped by living observers. Without life, the universe may not exist in any meaningful way. The second principle is the space and time are the mental constructs. According to biocentrism, space and time do not exist independently of the observer. These are the tools our mind uses to structure and interpret. And the third basic principle is the consciousness shapes the universe. The consciousness awareness is not produced by the brain, but instead is a fundamental component of the cosmos. The act of observation collapses possibilities into physical reality. And when we compare this with the materialistic view, which suggests that the physical world exists independently and give rise to consciousness, implying that the materialistic view says that the matter or the physical world gives rise to consciousness, whereas biocentrism is the other way, so saying that the consciousness is primary and the material world arises from it. Now we come to the core principles of bioscience. The first one is that the biology is more fundamental than physics. As I said earlier, that the life is more important and life created the universe. Traditional science places physics as the foundation of the universe, while biocentrism reverses this hierarchy, and life and biology are not incidental but primary. And matter doesn't create life, life gives rise to the perception of life. The second principle is that the consciousness creates reality, and the physical world does not exist until it is perceived by a conscious observer. This aligns with the view with the observer effect in quantum mechanics, where particles behave differently when observed. And the third principle is that no independent external universe. And there's the meaning that there's no universe out there existing on its own. And space and time are the constructs created within consciousness. Next is the time is an illusion. What we perceive as the past, present, and future is a subjective ordering of events. And time does not exist in mind, it is a property of the physical world. The last principle is that the space is the mindset construct. Like time, space is not a separate entity, but a framework we use to make sense of relationship between events and objects. A space, it's like a reference frame that we construct to view the world. Now, how these are related to the Indian philosophy. In Indian philosophy, Chit is considered to be one of the five attributes of Brahma, which is ultimate knowledge. Unchanging reality, including Sat, that is existence, Anand, that is bliss, Nama, that is your name, and Roop, that is your form of existence. Advait Vedanta emphasizes non-duality, where individual self, that is Atman, is not separate from a universal consciousness, that is Brahman. And according to Sankhya, consciousness is distinct yet ever present, witnessing Prakriti, that is nature. And yoga philosophy, especially in the literature by Patanjali, aims at realization of the self by quitting the mind, connecting to pure consciousness. We can see that the physical universe is seen as the manifestation of illusion, that is Maya, of Brahma's consciousness. Maya veils the true nature of reality, making the finite world appear real. In summary, we can say that consciousness is produced by the brain. Rather, the brain is an instrument through which it expresses itself. Now, next we come to comparison. In the biocentric view, the time and the space are mental constructs and not absolute entities. They do not exist independently of consciousness. Instead, they arise as way the brain organizes your information, and the observer plays a key role in shaping the structure of reality. Whereas in the Vedantic view, time, that is Kal, and space, that is Desh, are part of illusion, and the grand illusion that wields the true, unchanging self is your Atma. The ultimate reality, Brahm, transcends time and space, and everything experienced in the material world is considered illusionary and impermanent. When you go further, yogic texts and ancient Vedic scriptures describe reality as non-linear. Time is seen as cyclic rather than linear, and advanced studies state that samadhi transcends time and space, offering direct exposure of external consciousness. When we come to the ideas about life and death, biocentric view is that the consciousness is not confined to the physical body. When the body ceases to function, consciousness does not die, it simply transitions beyond the illusion of time and space. And as we know, while saying this, Robert Lanza draws on manifold world interpretation of quantum physics and the observer effect. And he argues that death is a reboot of consciousness into another form, in another frame of reference, implying that death is not an end point, but a shift in the experimental state of awareness. The Indian philosophy says, especially in Vedanta, Sankhya, and Yoga, view death through the lens of reincarnation and karmic unity. Rebirth is mentioned in all the Vedic texts, and it says that the soul, that is Atma, undergoes multiple lifetimes. And karma, the moral and energetic imprint of actions in one life, influences future births. The ultimate goal is liberation, freedom from the cycle of birth, and depth attained by realizing the self as Brahman. In summary, we can say that death is a doorway, not an ending, but a chance for renewal or liberation. So the common thread between the biocentric theory and the Indian philosophy is transformation is more important than termination. Consciousness is an enduring reality, and the physical form is temporary, but the essence is eternal. Now, about the fact that the consciousness is a creator, biocentric theories, like we said, is not a product of the universe, it gives rise to the universe. And the universe arises from life. And the physical reality exists only through the act of observations by a conscious being, and the observer is essential. Without awareness, the cosmos has no definite existence. In contrary, the Vedic perspective says that the Brahma is the ultimate unchanging reality, pure consciousness. The material universe is a manifestation or projection from a Brahma, and much like a dream arises from a dreamer. And consciousness is not without the universe. The universe exists within consciousness. And there are three modes of knowledge which has been described in Vedanta. The first one is pratyaksha, that is perception, which is the direct sensory experience, what we see, what we hear, what we touch. Second is the anuman, the inference, which is a form of logical reasoning, deriving truth through observation and logic. And this helps to go beyond direct perception. The third is the Shabda, the scriptural testimony, which is the highest authority in Vedanta, knowledge derived from Upanishads, Veds, and Guru's wisdom, rooted in the timeless truth. And this points directly to the consciousness as the eternal reality. Now let's compare the aspects. So, regarding the origin of the universe, biocentrism says that it is created by the observer. Our life is the main source of creation of the universe. While the Indian philosophy says that it's innate from Brahma, that is the knowledge. The second is the reality aspect. Brahma says it is subjective and observer based, whereas Indian philosophy says it is Maya, illusion, or subjective reality. And third is the time and space. Biocentrism theory says it is mind independent, where Indian philosophy says Maya is not it is not absolute. And consciousness is concerned. Biocentric theory gives it a prime and the fundamental importance, where Indian philosophy says it's eternal and omnipresent. So, in a way, you can say that both are nearly identical. And both these aspects challenge materialism by placing consciousness at the center of existence. Now, let's come to the points of convergence of both the theories. Both the theories give preference to consciousness over matter. Consciousness is not provided by the brain, but it is fundamental. Both the theories say the reality is observer dependent, thereby signifying that reality emerges through observation. It is not objective or absolute. Illusion of time and space. Both the theories reconstruct the physical world into mental construct. And as far as post-materialistic view of life is concerned, this opens doors to the post-materialistic paradigm, those that go beyond matter to include consciousness, intention, and subjective experience. And now let's have a brief look to the point of divergence. As far as biocentrism is concerned, it originates in a contemporary science, especially influenced by quantum physics and biology, and focuses on how consciousness shapes a physical reality, but does not delve into ethics, purpose, or liberation. Whereas Indian philosophy, which has been derived from Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutras, and all, assert that consciousness is eternal and defined, not just a cognitive phenomenon. And it seeks not just to understand the universe, but to realize unity within it. The Indian philosophy gives importance to dharma, that is your righteous duty, your karma, your actions, and moksha, the liberation from the cycle of rebirth. and it aims to transform the self and harmonize life with cosmic order. As far as implications for the future are concerned, both shift towards a consciousness centered worldview. They try to bridge science and spirituality. And the convergence invites interdisciplinary exploration. And the emerging applications in modern science includes quantum physics, artificial intelligence. We will talk about this in a few days about artificial intelligence in Indian philosophy. And the other is the neuroscience, investigate the origin of consciousness and the mind-brain relation. So, from these observations, we can conclude that both are the complementary lenses on reality. Both approach reality from two different domains, modern science and ancient spirituality. Yet they converge on a radical idea that consciousness is the foundation of all existence. And instead of opposing views, they are complementary lenses offering a fuller understanding of the universe. Both perspectives reject the reductionist view that the universe is merely a physical matter operating through blind laws. The implication is bold. Matter arises from mind, not the other way around. And life is not an accident in an indifferent cosmos. It is the central to the structure of the universe. Death is not an end. It is the passage or transformation of consciousness. And cosmos is not a machine. It is a conscious, interconnected unfold. So what we see and what we conclude is that life is of prime importance. Atma exists and it is the main cause of existence of the universe. It is our thoughts that shape the universe around us. Our thoughts can be a function of space and time coordinates, but it is that which shapes the world. Our thinking shapes the world around us. It is our thinking that promotes discoveries and inventions and development. We see development because our mind wants, our thought wants. So the consciousness is of prime importance rather than the materialistic world. And this is what our sages had been telling us for the past centuries. So we will end it today, and we will coming with another topics on similar issues very soon. Thank you for your patient listening. Namaste.